Hello. So what is going on here? Okay, so I think we are. Okay, so we are good. So welcome to this interview. I think we are rolling now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh huh. How are you doing? Let's
I'm,
do that.
I'm doing okay. Not bad. Not bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I want to apologize to not just our viewers, but to you as well, for the technical difficulties we faced in getting here.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's all right.
and thank you so much for your patience.
Mm. Yeah. Well.
Um, all right, so let's not take up too much of your time. I know it's a little bit later there than it is here.
Yeah.
But how did you? Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Dangamvura United?
Well, we start basically. I was born and bred in Dangamvura, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up there, and it was around 2006. I think it was 2006, 2007, somewhere there.
Wow.
Yeah. When Kuzai Mbondo, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
got in touch, and he was just talking, about the situation that was there on the ground
Mm-hmm.
back home. But that time I had moved. We had moved to the UK,
Yep.
so he just started telling me that there are these kids that are talented and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and if possible, if I could support them in like football stuff and support financially to make sure that they're able to go to their games
Mm-hmm.
and have like the supplies that they needed really to be
Yeah.
able to play to play the game of football, and hopefully for them to get opportunity through
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
how it basically started.
Okay.
And yeah, around 2006, 2007, somewhere there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your involvement with Dangamvura United goes back even longer than I imagined.
Yeah.
2006, 2007, we were fresh out of high school at that time, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah,
Just like that, yeah, because I know that's the year that I started college, 2006.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So the question then becomes, you know, Kudzi, and we'll talk to Kudzi about his passion for Dangamvura United as well.
Mhm.
But what two things? One, why were you asked in particular? And two, what about it made you want to jump on, if you will?
Well, I've always had passion for sports. That's one thing. Yeah,
Uh,
growing up, I think I used to be involved in everything and anything and and everything.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also my background, my family background, like my
Mm.
dad and my dad's brothers and stuff like that used to play. Like Mabuza,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Paboka and stuff like that. So
Yes, yes, yes.
we grew up
Mhm.
going and watching football there. So that's where the passion really started. So when he presented the idea for
Mhm.
me, and also the love of community and the youth that were there to give them a platform
Right.
to obviously get noticed and identified and better their future, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't hesitate really to jump on the idea and just help.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. And for our viewers out there, just to give you further context, one, both, I mean, me, Kudzi, Shan, as well as a couple other people who are involved in this, including my man Zeni. We're all in the same class back at Sheni Primary School,
I know, yeah.
7A. So I would argue that we're the most important class
Oh
involved
yeah,
with
definitely.
if I may say so. Okay, so wow. So now you are almost at 15 years
Mm.
involved with Dangamvura United. Um, what has been your proudest moment involved with this club?
Proudest moments, really. I think I had one opportunity. This takes me back. I think it was 2007 or 2008 when I came to visit
Mm-hmm.
Zimbabwe at that time, and I actually got an opportunity to watch them play.
Mm-hmm.
When I came, they were playing against the team at
Okay.
Sakuva Stadium. Yeah, so I actually went there to to watch the game, and I thought, this is not that bad, because sometimes when you're doing something, you'll be thinking, oh, is it going to make a difference? Are people
Right.
really going to engage in it? And
Mm-hmm.
I think so far it has provided platforms for other people to get noticed in other areas and teams, and giving that opportunity, which was always the focal point,
Right. Right. Right.
really, for starting that, like, to better the lives of the people, really, that we grew up with, and the youth that
Indeed.
are that were coming behind us, really.
Mm-hmm. 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 So wow. So that's been a pivotal moment in the way you engage with the team.
Mm,
Uh, and it's and just to understand again, to give it further context, a lot of us who help with the team uh, live overseas, so we have never actually seen the team play live.
mm,
So for Sean to have had this experience, it's pretty cool, really. And that's your proudest moment.
mm,
So one of the questions I have to ask is, again, close to 15 years later, you were one of the first people to come on board, right? And you
mm.
are still engaged,
Yeah.
right? And this is a period in which you've gone through school. You went from being a teenager uh, to being a full-grown adult, family and all.
Mm.
Where do you find this passion to keep going?
Where do I find what? Sorry.
Where do you think your priorities change in that time, right?
Hmm.
But what keeps you around? What keeps you around?
I think the that home is always there, in your
Hmm.
heart.
Hmm.
No matter what you do in your life, or no matter where you go, or no matter your accomplishments, you
Hmm.
always want to try to make a difference, to
Okay.
make sure that uh, people in your community have different platforms to get them to a better future, or at
Hmm.
least a better way of living than what the
Right.
situation is like, at the moment. So I think
Hmm.
that is always the goal, that helping people, and just trying to push, really, to get everyone in a better place, because I would
Hmm.
have wanted someone to do that for me if I was there.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's about continuing to better the community. But then I have to ask this, and this is inevitable,
Mhm.
if slightly uncomfortable. You came in again. You were one of the first people to come on, but 15 years later,
Mhm.
uh, we haven't seen. And I could be wrong about this, but we haven't seen other women sort of rise to the platform. What do you think are the obstacles to women being involved in the way that you have been involved?
I think football has always been, I think, associated with um it being a man game. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that may be a bit of there may be a bit of intimidation to that,
Mm-hmm.
to getting involved in that game. But I don't have those kinds of intimidation. One,
Right.
because I
Indeed.
said my family had the background, and I was raised in a family
Mm-hmm.
of boys. I've got two brothers, so I
Mm-hmm.
I, I know I'm comfortable to navigate my way through um a room full of men, really, I don't get
Mm-hmm.
intimidated in
Mm-hmm.
that aspect. So I think, and sometimes even the understanding of the game,
Mm-hmm.
to see what like understanding of what the game actually requires,
Mm-hmm.
what it means, what different positions, like it's not common knowledge for women, so the
Right. Right.
interest levels will
Mm-hmm.
be quite low. That's what I think in my aspect, rather than anything being any other reasons. Really, it's just like the knowledge and interest. We tend
Mm-hmm.
to navigate to different kind of sports.
Indeed, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. And a lot of that is cultural, right? Because I know we have viewers from around the world, so you might be hearing this in the US and wondering how is because over here, in for kids, actually soccer tends to be something associated more with women.
Mhm.
But in Zimbabwe, just growing up, actually the Shona terms we used was Borare wa Komana and Borare wa Skana, which is
Yeah.
to say Borare wa Komana is boys ball, which is soccer or football.
Yeah.
And Borare wa Sikana was netball traditionally.
Yeah.
And things are starting to change a little bit, but historically,
Yeah.
that's what it has been like. So my question then is, are you involved, maybe personally, or do you see sort of parallel programs where women are involved in giving back to the Dangamvura community, uh, maybe in a different way that is not soccer?
At the moment, to be honest, no. But I do have people that we grew up with that actually
Hmm.
contribute to Dangamvura United.
Okay.
Behind the scenes, like ladies as well,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
they're not as involved as I am. Like
Hmm.
like in the forefront and stuff
Right.
like. But we have actually been talking, about. I was hoping this year in April I was due to come home,
Hmm.
but then COVID happened,
Right.
so I couldn't come.
Hmm.
So I wanted to explore more, obviously, in looking at the girl child for
Hmm.
in our community, since I was raised as an only girl child in my family, but um, in different aspects, like I said, I was raised to think like a man.
Hmm.
Yeah, in different aspects. So I was just looking at how best can we empower our little sisters that are there,
Hmm. Hmm.
or even people that we went to school with at
Right.
current moment, even looking at employment opportunities for people that are on the ground as well. So those are some of the things that I have been looking at to see how best really can we support our community at the moment.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, so that's very impressive and important work, right? And it's a lot of catching up to do, right? Because it's taken us as long as we have to get Dangamvura United to where it is now.
Mhm.
So my question then is, you as a woman who has given so much, if not more than 98% of the people involved with Dangamvura United. What can guys do? And this is two questions in one. What can us as the fellas do? One, to create a more welcoming environment for some of the women who may have the reservations you expressed earlier. Uh, well, maybe let's deal with that question right now. Is there anything that we can do to, because clearly the understanding of the game and things like that are important,
Mhm.
but we have some people who just help, who just uh, morale and financial support and these sort of things. What can we do to help foster an environment where uh, women can be more engaged?
I think communication is
Hmm.
it. When you start to talk about it, then people will know about
Hmm.
what the game entails. Because at the moment, or maybe ages ago, or even now, some people might say, "Oh, why would I waste my time, playing
Hmm.
football?" it's not like I'm going to end up in Manchester United,
Right. Yeah, right.
those kind of things. But it's about educating people of the fundamentals of
Mm-hmm.
what football is about, or
Mm-hmm.
what Dangamvura United is about, like
Right.
the platform itself. Because I mean, at the moment, it's all about the community and what we can do to help the community.
Absolutely.
It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be football in like just football, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can even support the boys by just going in, like
Right.
at the ground when they're playing a game and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That way, so that people can learn through that. We talk
Absolutely.
about it, ask questions. What is it about? Because when you
Mm-hmm.
don't ask questions, sometimes people don't talk. But to just put it out there, really,
Mm-hmm.
and talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so to open up communication, and I think one of the things you sort of hinted at that I think may also be important is this idea, yeah, the team does a lot of community service as well. So you could even not be at the games and things like that, but maybe when they go donate books, which they did in January, um, to the different primary schools around Angamvura. That's something
Yeah.
that folks can be involved in. Recently, we've worked with a donation from Blessing Vunzawabaya, who and we've given more than 10 families groceries that have been hard hit by COVID. So these are other things that people can get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let me ask you this then.
Mm-hmm.
What are your hopes for like when you see Dangamvura United? What constitutes success for Dangamvura United for you?
Well, I'm a bit of a high achiever.
Okay.
Some of my expectations might not be realistic,
Mm-hmm.
but my hope really is for every person that is on the team, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
get to a point where they're playing for, like a team like Dynamos, Caps United, and
Indeed.
at the end of the day, even better off go to other countries, to
Mm-hmm.
play outside of the countries. That is
Mm-hmm.
my wish. But
Right.
we also know that for that to happen, a lot of work has to be put in, because football
Mhm.
is like a physical game,
Absolutely.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
a lot of work has to be put in. So if work is put in, and obviously people that are contributing to make that possible,
Hmm.
we meet in the middle, I think we'll be able to get somewhere. I
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. So and so those are big dreams, right? I'm so glad we have high achievers like you
Mm-hmm.
on the board and these things. But so far from your experience with Dangamvura United, what have been some of the big what has been in the way of us producing these stars? As you and I know from growing up in that space, some excellent talents over the years.
Mm.
Um, why don't we have? Why have we not had more success stories?
I think maybe the situation at the moment on the
Mm-hmm.
ground, yeah, it's limiting really
Mm-hmm.
people to be disciplined. Like what Mr. Masaka said the other day,
Right.
football is a game of discipline. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be a disciplined individual.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same like with boxing. You have to train when you're going for a fight.
Absolutely.
You can't just turn up after 10 months of just sitting at home
Mm-hmm.
and turn up and think, you're going to win the title. You know,
Right.
the more work you put in, the
Mm-hmm.
more the results that you get, that you get out of it. So I think discipline is one
Mm-hmm.
of the biggest issue,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that I've
Mm-hmm.
seen with the team, and dedication, really showing up for training.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those are the two challenges. I don't usually talk, like on
Yeah.
the football, on the platforms with the
Mhm.
players and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
those will be the two things that I think, and respect as well.
Uh-huh.
You have to be able to respect, um, not people that are doing stuff for you,
Yeah.
no, but the other players as well. You have
As
to
well,
respect
indeed.
each
Indeed.
other, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the things: dedication, discipline, and
Mm-hmm.
respect.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
we're able to have people that are focused
Mm-hmm.
and they're dedicated to do what they want, and also if someone, like you can say to yourself, oh, I want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
in a year or two, I want to achieve this. But if you don't really want it in your heart, you won't actually have the willpower to push for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can push and do other things, but
Mm-hmm.
then have that thing just lagging behind you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're
Mm-hmm.
not really putting that much focus on yourself.
Right.
So I think also the team have to want and believe that, what, if you put the hard work, the other people as well, it gives them courage to push on,
Mm-hmm.
to make things happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, so you so three words that you outlined there that we seem to have struggled with in the past, which are you mentioned discipline, dedication, and respect. Wow. So I want to just talk a little bit about Dangamvura as a community. You are the first guest we've had who is based overseas, and you've been away for a while, which you've already expressed. Um, what do you miss about Dangamvura as a community?
Oh, I miss the people,
Mm.
my brothers, sisters. I do miss home. I love, like, when I come there, Karandrukumba, I feel like Drukumba.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, you don't feel those insecurities of your, what is that person looking at me this kind of way, because you know what people are like.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I miss that feeling of home and feeling of just laughing, talking to neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's sort of like a different vibe over here. You do have neighbors, but you don't really like stand there for like an hour, two
Absolutely.
hours mechitaura, and mechiseka. So I just miss the community, the
Indeed.
community feeling, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, so
Mm.
it's funny that you say that, and maybe if you remember any sort of like stories or anecdotes about when you went back, you can share those as well. But one of my favorite stories that show how much you miss like little things is I had gone back I think in 2016, and I was on the bus and or something, Harare to Mutare, and while I was on there, this young couple comes in. They might have been like 19 or 20, but they had a baby. I mean, the mom was actively with the baby, and this baby is just crying, and the mom is trying to feed him or her chips, right? Which I'm not a parent, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be feeding a crying baby
Mm-hmm.
like crisps.
Yeah.
So, but everybody's just quiet. Then this go in the back is like, you. Yami someone now, you man. Then
Mm-hmm.
the mom is sort of like, askuda kuita seko. Yami someone. Then, and you could tell like she was shaken, but then she starts to suckle the child,
Yeah.
and it's just quiet. And then go a little bit later, it's like, was one other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, over here, if you were to ever tell somebody what to do with their child,
It's
you
banana. Yeah. It's none of
so,
your business. That's what they'll tell you.
right. So
Yeah.
So that little moment, even just sitting on the bus and just witnessing that, I was like, wow, this is different, and I really appreciated that little interaction. So
Yeah. Same here. I remember even in 2017, I came to Zim so that my
Mhm.
daughter can see her grandparents,
Right.
and
Hmm.
my family.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, like, Kunok, like everything is like tar.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
tarmac. You don't,
Mm.
no gravel and whatever. And just seeing my daughter, like even the space,
Uh-huh.
seeing my daughter going around,
Mm.
smelling flowers,
Right.
like because especially in UK, it's very cold. Like we have 8 months, predominantly winter.
Right.
So when we went to Zimbabwe, she saw like a garden full of flowers, and she just went picking every one of them.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, and running into the gravel and stuff. She was
Mm-hmm.
just so free.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, what, this is really amazing, because
Mm-hmm.
in the UK you'll be worried about, oh, where are you going? What are you doing? You're
Mm-hmm.
not comfortable for your child to go out and play with that, with other kids
Indeed.
and stuff
Mm.
like that. And you'll be thinking, but we grew up, we used to disappear,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and come back later,
Right.
Tambama games and stuff like that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was really amazing. For,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm-hmm. I'm glad she got to have that experience, and
yeah,
God willing, there's many more of those in the future.
yeah.
Um, but also, in addition to that, if you were to mention what are maybe one or two things that being in that community, how did that equip you for dealing with the world? So when you left home and you're now in the UK and you're dealing with all sort of people, what sort of values did you take with you that make you unique and successful in, at this point in time?
I think one of the things was hard work, because
Hmm.
in Africa it's no child's play. You
Yeah.
have to start working hard. Basically, we grow up quick
Yeah.
in Africa,
Hmm.
so it wasn't it wasn't hard for me, because when you transition to when you're coming from Africa to here, you have
Hmm.
to start working. So when I came here,
Hmm.
uh, I was young, but then my focal point was, I need to work and
Work.
get this money.
Right.
I
Right.
can't just sit at home because everyone else was working. So that
Hmm.
that drive, that we were always on the forefront of work was not something that we hesitated, because we
Hmm.
were brought up in a hard working community. We had to work
Right.
for stuff, like food,
Hmm.
going kumunda and stuff like that.
Right.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So I think that is one of the important drives that
Hmm.
really helps me to
Hmm.
come here to work and not hesitate to do anything. And whatever I wanted,
Hmm.
I had that focus to say, what, I can work on this and I'll get it, and I'll get to the
Hmm.
position where I want to get.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
And the other thing would be, I mean, respect. Because,
Hmm.
back home, everyone was your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And everyone was your brother,
Hmm.
the older guys and
Yeah.
sisters. So uh, when I came here, it's sort of, I didn't lose that, because here you call each other on first name basis.
Yeah.
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 So even if you're 65, you're still
Mm.
Grace,
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff
Mm.
like that. So I think that also helped me everywhere where I went. Anyone that I saw, um, especially people of different cultures,
Right.
yeah, I would always, and still to this day, I always refer to them as auntie, because I
Mm.
felt so uncomfortable to call them, uh, you know, hi Grace, morning.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just felt bad and uncomfortable to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So hard work and respect
Mm,
being two of the virtues that you carried with you. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about when we were making the 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 flyers we make for Dangamvura United for the Masaka interview.
mm,
So typically it's just it's Shun Murawu Goka or Kevin Kastuza, these names.
mm.
So I was thinking like, Mr. Masaka. I was gonna tell Kuzi to ask him what his first name is. I was like, you know what? No, he's
You
just
just say Mr. Masaka.
that's,
Yeah,
that's who he is to us. So
yeah.
it doesn't matter. So indeed. So no, thank you so much. Um, and I suspect that you've already mentioned some of these things Um, but I'm going to ask you to conclude. Uh, and let me just explain too that because of the way our thing went today, we have not been able to. Let me look here. We have not been able to get these questions as we typically do because it was shared on my page and whatnot. So hopefully, as more people watch it later, they will ask at their own time, and maybe you can just respond to them. Then I do apologize for that. But what as we conclude, what three words, three values, and we already spoke about values throughout this. What three words? We're going to take at Ishan. We are talking about these three things. What are these three values that you feel like define you as a person?
I think I'm very loving person.
Yeah.
I am. I
Mhm.
feel. Um, Also, I'm trying to look like deep down in the core.
Mhm. Mhm.
Also, some might say strict, loving and strict at the same time, in the same sort of thing. But I'm very I like structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Mm.
structure, and also I'm very proud of who I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very proud of who I am, and my heritage and where I come from is
Mhm.
very important.
Very
So
important.
people that know me, they know that I'm always talking about myself. Where I'm not that person that is evasive of where they come from or anything. I'm
Mhm.
very proud. I'm a very proud individual of my background
Mhm.
and where I came from.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
would say I'll say those three.
Right. 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 So very loving,
Mm,
very strict, and structure oriented, and
mm,
as well as being very proud of where you are, of your identity and everything.
yeah.
And it's very interesting to our viewers too. I just want to say this that um all those things, if you engage with Sean on any level, you can see these things absolutely. But one of the funny anecdotes about her structure orientedness, one time, so we have several group chats for the Dangamvura United team, the executive, the team. So sometimes they keep us abreast of how the games are going when they're playing. And one time, the guys had been playing around and just sending ridiculous results, on the day, just being silly, saying that I go. And the only person I saw really speak up about that was Sean. It's like, okay, guys, that's not okay, because. And I just thought it was funny to me because I got the joke because every minute they'll be like, oh, and somebody else has scored or some. It was just very very silly on their end. Then she
Mm.
just chimed in, and she, like she said, she doesn't say much, but that time she chimed in, she was like, "Okay, guys, stop it." I'm like, "Okay, the boss has spoken," and I've never seen that again. It was like 5 years ago. So, uh, uh funny moments.
Yeah.
But indeed, thank you so much, and I really do appreciate you not just taking time. I know you'd rather be in the background and just get your props that way.
Yeah, I'm kind of private like that.
But here you are.
Yeah.
Not only did you share your time with us, but you stuck around for more than an hour
Mm.
as we fumbled around with the technology. At a point when I was ready to just give in, but you stuck around, so really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for your time. Please be sure to give your family our love.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention at the beginning that again, to something you mentioned, that Sean's dad is a legend at the Dangamvura soccer field. Uh, if you were there in the 90s and early 2000s, you cannot not remember him.
Mm.
One of the more interesting characters we had on the field. So please give him our love, and thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Indeed.
you.
All right. Yeah,
Bye.
sure.